All right, now we're ready to build the curtained area for the guests. So what we have is I've laid out, there are 7 pieces for this section, not including the cross pieces for the curtains. And these pieces right here are going to be a single groove, which means there's one groove, no side 90-degree angle grooves, so there's only one groove on here at all. So can you see that on the end? Anyway. So these are all going to have just one groove, and you'll also notice that it's offset, it's not directly in the center. So you're going to want to make sure that that stays the same side every time. I usually put the offset side to the back of the booth, the back side. So the other thing you're going to notice is there are several different pieces for the connectors that you're going to be using. We have a 3-way connector, which is going to go on the bottom piece, and an L-shaped connector, which is also going to go on the bottom piece. Remember that there is a bar that runs between the back wall and the booth on the floor on the back side, but not on the front side, because we don't want anybody tripping over this bar as they walk into the booth. So there is no bar, no third bracket on the bottom here for that reason. The next piece is the center piece, and there are 2 grooves on opposite sides of the centerpiece. You can see that. Single grooves, but on opposite sides. Okay? And again, we want to, and then there is a T-bracket, T-shaped bracket, that's going to go right in there and connect. And another one on this side, also T-shaped bracket. And that's the center section. The top section has 3-way connectors. Sure that they're both facing the same direction, and they are going to go up in the booth like this, although the groove is going to go down. There you go. So the groove goes down, and one to the top rail and one to the uprights. All right. Then the other 2 pieces are the uprights, and again, these are just a single rail, 3-foot long piece. Okay? So we will start the same way we built the booth. We're going to build 2 pieces of white 3-foot by 3-foot panels for the back wall. So again, we're going to put in one upright and one panel. Line the panels up in the grooves. Then we're going to put in a second upright. Snap it in place. And that should hold this panel in place. Then we're going to frame it out with our middle section, already snapped together. And this guy's almost all set to go. We're ready for the final section. One upright, a panel, then the next upright. And my final upright, holding it all together. And the very top. That up against the wall. This is the back wall. Now we're going to connect it to the booth with a curtain. What I like to do is put the rails on the booth first. And they'll stay in place just fine, temporarily. Then I like to run my curtains on the poles first before I connect the back wall. Slide it all the way up there out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Lining up the bottom connector and the bottom rail. And I'm going to line up the top too. And then I'll snap that into place. There you go. The frame of the booth is completely set up in a matter of minutes, and the next step is just the electronics. All right, the next thing we're going to be working on are the electronics of the booth. Again, very simple and easy to set up. You'll notice already that I have mounted the camera. It is advantageous to put the camera on before you mount this, this top piece. It's a little easier to screw in the thumb screw to get that camera in place when it's on the floor. Next, we have the touchscreen monitor. You'll see on the back, there are 3 cables to connect. There's a power cable, a VGA cable, and the USB cable. And I've already run the ends through the hole into the back part of the booth, the operator side of the booth. And then there is a very simple connection mounting bracket that holds this very steadily and firmly in place in the booth. And very simply, you just line up the grooves and it slides right down into place. If I get the grooves lined up, I got one of them lined up. There we go, just like that. And now we're just going to tuck all of the cords out of the way. And we can pull the cords through on the other side so that nobody can see the cords. The next thing and the last thing inside the customer area of the booth, the curtained area, is the lighting setup. This is very simple. There are aluminum brackets that just hang right over the top. Super simple to drop that right in place, and the cord goes right up over top of the booth and everybody sees it. Very simple. The camera gets adjusted easily to fit any size person, whether they be little kids or adults, so that's very helpful. And the next part of the assembly is in the operator side of the booth. All right, now we're on the operator side of the booth, and we'll put the doors on very last. It's nice to put the doors on last so you have plenty of room to work on your projects in here when you're connecting everything. So what we have to connect is very simple. A power strip you're going to plug everything into, your laptop, and a printer. And you have to plug in the power strips, but also the USB cables. So we have here a 4-way USB hub that we're going to plug into the laptop to start. The next thing we're going to do is plug in the monitor from the front side and the camera. So the thin cable is the camera, which we're going to plug right into the laptop itself. Then we're going to plug in the USB cable to the hub for the monitor. And there is a VGA, blue VGA cable that is going to plug into the side of the laptop. You don't even have to screw anything in, it just pushes right in the slot like that. And then you got the power cable for the monitor. I've already plugged in the 2 lights into our power strip, and all of those cables can just tuck right out of the way, nice and neatly. And the next thing we're going to do is hook up our printer. There's a nice cutout in the side of the logo panels that fit these printers perfectly. So these photo printers are very simple and easy to set up. You are going to plug in a power cable to the surge protector power strip. And you're going to plug in the USB printing cable to our hub. And tuck the cords out of the way. Turn the power on, put paper in it, and you're ready to rock. Next, we're going to put the doors on. There are 4 doors, 2 for the top and 2 for the bottom. And the easy way to set these up, we'll start with the bottom, is push the button in and lift it up so the button comes out the top, and that'll hold it on an angle up out of the way. You don't want to put any more stress on the connectors than just that much at a time, or you risk breaking them. So now we just take and we slide in one panel, line it up with the grooves, and slide it to the right. Then pop in the second panel, line up with the grooves, and slide it to the right. Then simply push the button and pop it back down into place. Now we've got 2 doors. You can easily slide open and close to make a nice finished look. We'll do the same thing with the top portion. That way, if the operator has to leave the booth, they can pull the door shut and nobody's going to mess with your electronics. There you are, my friends, an Easy Snap photo booth put together in a snap in minutes.